Well, a guy who took Clemson to the national championship game a season ago. He won one as a player at Alabama. But after losing to the Crimson Tide out in the desert of Arizona last year, Dabo Swinney has Clemson in the nation's top 5. And today the Tigers host South Carolina State for the 4th time. And once again, they've come to Frank Howard Field for one of the great traditions in college football. Clemson and South Carolina State is next. We welcome to week 3 of ACC football, a 12-game slate in the conference. It's the biggest Saturday of the fall. And we're at Frank Howard Field at Clemson's Memorial Stadium for the 4th meeting all time between the Bulldogs of Buddy Pugh and the number 5 Clemson Tigers. And with James Bates, Wes Durham, thanks so much for being a part of our coverage. Jen Hildreth joins us here in just a moment. Clemson is 2-0. They're 5th in the country. Fans are a little frustrated, maybe analysts a little surprised. The Tigers haven't been as impressive as maybe we thought they should be.
Yeah, on the outside of this program, they're not talking about the numbers 2-0 or even the number 5 in the nation. They're talking about the number 8, as in 8 drops by normally a great quarterback and very steady wide receivers just last week in a close one that shouldn't have been against Troy. But guys that took them to that national championship game last year, Dabo Swinney says, hey, I don't know, what are we eating, the wrong grits or something? But he said, but you know what? We're going to clean that up. And when we do, we've got a defense that people weren't sure what we had. We've got special teams. People weren't sure what we've had. They have performed. They have played well. Yeah. Get that cleaned up on offense, and the sky is definitely the limit. But Jen Hildreth, he did say yesterday Deshaun Watson is a guy that he has never seen frustrated until last weekend against Troy.
Yeah, he said that Deshaun actually started pressing in that game, and Deshaun this week came out and said an apology, said he feels like he's coming off his worst game. He was 27 of 53, 2 interceptions, but beyond that, he felt like his body language was bad. He had negative energy. He was not being a good enough leader. But Dabo Swinney said to us yesterday, hey, the guys around him haven't been good enough. As you said, James, they got to catch the ball. But as for his quarterback, Dabo Swinney is not concerned. He said, when it comes to Deshaun, I have zero concern. I have never been around someone with a better feeling and awareness of the situation around him. So you want to talk pressure and expectations on that young man? No concern from his head coach. They just want to get that offense going today, fellas.
Well, Jen, and they're going to do it against a team that's already suffered losses at Central Florida and Louisiana Tech last Saturday night. But, James, there is some familiarity with the Tigers in these new coordinators for South Carolina State.
First-year defensive coordinator Kirk Botkin was the last 4 years with Steve Spurrier at South Carolina as a defensive assistant, and G.A. Mangus came over as an offensive assistant. He was there for the last 7 years as a quarterback coach at Carolina, 5-2 against Clemson. And after the Week 1 shutout at the hands of UCF, South Carolina State coach Buddy Pugh made a switch. G.A. Mangus is now his offensive coordinator. And look for his guys when they get the ball to speed it up a little bit. That's what they brought him in for.
South Carolina State won the toss, elected to defer. Jerome Petaway, or Tyler Scandrett, by the way, will kick it away. And the Tigers have Adam Choice and C.J. Fuller deep to return. And the ball fell off the tee for the junior from Barnesville, Georgia, Tyler Scandrett. 4th meeting all time. Clemson has won the 3 previous meetings very convincingly with the Bulldogs out of the MEAC from over in Orangeburg. Kick is short, and this will be Feaster. And out to the 31 goes Tavian Feaster, a freshman from Spartanburg. It's a 21-yard return. And here is the former Red Elephant from Gainesville High School in North Georgia. Finalist for the Heisman Trophy a year ago. And James, 12th in completion percentage at 53%. 12th in pass efficiency through 2 games is Deshaun Watson.
Little pep in the step, little hop out there as they get this offensive series started here. First one, all eyes on number 4 to see how he responds.
Gallman will get the carry on first down for a couple of yards. Darius Leonard, we'll call his name a lot today for the South Carolina State Bulldogs, number 10. The MEAC preseason Defensive Player of the Year and their leading tackler through 2 games. Watson to throw for the first time. Up in the pocket, and he'll struggle out beyond the 35 to the 36. Deshaun Taylor, the redshirt junior middle linebacker there, makes the stop.
Good job defensively, guys. They don't get much pressure on Watson, so it's good coverage down the field. But more importantly, South Carolina State, they're staying put. They're staying in those lanes. That's where he can really gash you when you get undisciplined and try to freelance.
Third down, middle of the field, and the catch made by Artavis Scott. That'll convert the first down. Clemson had been just shy of 38% on third down coming in. They were 8 of 20 last Saturday against Troy.
Good job by Deshaun. Sees a blitzer coming. The void is right there. Nice, easy pickup to move the chains.
Gallman trying to find a seam left side. And a gain of 11, maybe 12 on first down for Wayne Gallman.
Wes, this is what I really like about number 9. We sat down with him yesterday, and he's slight. He's not a real big guy. He's got the small pads as well, but every time he carries the ball, the end of the run, he makes guys pay. He's always going forward.
Pass complete here to the near side. And that's McLeod picking up about half the yards for the first down. Powell comes up from the boundary corner to make the stop on Ray McLeod. Here's our Toyota impact players for the Tigers on offense.
Yeah, Artavis Scott with Hunter Renfro out with the hand for a few weeks. He's got to step up and play more slot.
Second carry for Gallman, and he will fight to the 34. Should be close to a first down. Taylor and Henry out of the back 7 for the Bulldogs.
And quick on the draw there. We didn't get a chance. The other impact player, Jake Guillermo. Really impressed with him from Maryville, Tennessee. Not Maryville, Maryville, Tennessee. A former Rebel in high school. East Tennessee guy and very bright. Look at him make those line calls. It's not just the typical center making line calls. He's got a lot to do with what these coaches decide.
Watson on a run pass option will get the first down to the 30. And South Carolina State's impact players on defense brought to you by Toyota.
Well, we already saw number 10, Darius Leonard, make a hit. He's got 18 tackles leading the team. He's going to be a Sunday guy. And Gregtavius Newell, the defensive end.
Watson to throw against pressure. Mike Williams the first down inside the 10. First and goal for the Tigers on a strike to Williams.
And you see what going up and pulling it down can do, what kind of juice it gives a football team. Man, it's good to see Mike Williams back out there. Nice strong catch and a pop taken by Watson when he let go.
And the Tigers hand it to Choice. Adam Choice, redshirt sophomore from Thomasville, Georgia. We've seen already 2 Clemson backs. Could see as many as 3 here early. Potentially as many as 5 or 6 here today. Tony Elliott, the offensive coordinator, said we wanted to get everybody in there and get them some looks early last week against Troy. They accomplished that on their checklist. Second and goal. Ball at the 7. Inside route and the touchdown for Ray McLeod. Watson throws his 5th scoring pass of the year.
If that's how you get rid of the frustration, they'll take it in these parts. That was a pretty opening drive.
10 plays, 69 yards, just less than 3.5 minutes. And the point after by Hugel is good. James Watson was perfect on the drive. 43 yards and a touchdown.
4 of 4. This one he takes a big shot on. There you see him patting his chest. He took a helmet right to the chest. Here's a beautiful throw-in coverage. Hey, the Tigers offensively pretty good to start this Saturday.
Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Honda Generators. And by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. We have a plan that's right for you. Tigers score on their opening drive. Go ahead and have yourself a little drink there, James.
Look at that guy.
You're going to take him home, aren't you?
I wish. He's got it figured out, doesn't he? It's like a MacGyver squirrel.
Tigers score easily. Ray McLeod, the touchdown catch, his first of the year. And you see the details. And now Hugo will kick it away. Ahmad Harris, a grad transfer from Atlanta, played at Peachtree Ridge and is going to spend that grad year after finishing his degree work at UCLA.
Tigers have done a great job so far covering South Carolina State. Knows it. They'll take a quick knee.
Yep. Harris just a little guy. 5'8", about 175. And here comes Caleb York, 6'1", 210-pound sophomore from Providence in Charlotte, who a year ago threw for 1,700 yards and 11 scores and had an efficiency of about 122, James. And G.A. Mangus has kind of been working with him on that fast track since he took the coordinator reins.
Well, fast track is a good choice of words. And Caleb York, he ran a tempo offense back in Providence and Charlotte in high school. So he's picked up in a hurry. The offense as a whole, you'd have to say. Remember, they were shut out in week 1 against UCF. G.A. Mangus comes on, and then and only then do they install tempo across the board and changes of tempo therein. They had 12 penalties the first week, only 3 penalties last week, first week in the new system.
Out in the flat, this is McIntosh. A couple of yards before he's knocked into the Clemson bench. Johnson, one of the safeties there. Canone McIntosh, redshirt freshman from Conyers, Georgia. Buddy Pugh now in season number 15 in Orangeburg. And back to McIntosh again. And we go to our Toyota Impact players. Offensively here for South Carolina State today.
Well, Kendall Cobb, good job blocking down the field on that last pass catch. Victor Ishmael, the junior from Miami Sunset. His dad was a Bulldog there at South Carolina State as a player and is now the strength coach at the University of Miami. He's been there for a long time through quite a few changes, so he must be doing something right there in the weight room with the Canes.
3rd and short for the Bulldogs, who were just 1 of 12 last week at Louisiana Tech on 3rd down, and across the middle the catch is made, and that's Jamison for the first down.
Nice sell on the run fake. It's 3rd and short. Everybody's heated up, and that vacates those linebackers from their spots. Now guess what? The easiest throw for a quarterback in football, that quick slant. Boom, nice position by Jamison on the defensive back, and they'll move the chains.
York looking to throw and cut it loose as the ball hit the ground, but he's ruled down. It'll be a sack for the Tigers, and Christian Wilkins able to draw him back 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, the young man, just a sophomore, not much resistance as he comes underneath. And G.A. Mangus told me in pregame, he said, if we get across that 50, we're going to try to go up top. I think that was their try to go up top. They've got a fast one in Canome McIntosh, but nothing happening there thanks to Christian Wilkins disrupting in the backfield. Now a 2nd down and long.
LeBron Morris has joined DeAndre Brown in the backfield for South Carolina State. Loss of 3. 2nd down for the Bulldogs, who trail 7-0. And now we get delay a game on South Carolina State.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
James, I can only imagine when Buddy Pugh elected to make the change, how fast this track has been for Caleb York in terms of what G.A. Mangus wants to do when he sees York's skill set. And just the acclimation and even little things like lines of communication can sometimes get flawed.
Well, and you know, whether he was ready or not, he's done a good job in bringing some guys up while at South Carolina.
York cuts it loose to nobody. Carlos Watkins, big 94, had rumbled through the middle of that South Carolina State offensive line. And we get to our Toyota Impact players on defense for Brent Venables' unit.
Well, no Ben Boulware out there today. Bad ankle. He'll be back soon. But Kendall Joseph, the sophomore, in his first career start at Auburn, only 14 tackles, 3 tackles for loss. ACC linebacker of the week. They've got a good one in 34. And we've already seen 42 in the backfield. And they are going to go ahead and call an intentional grounding, not outside the tackle box. And as you mentioned in your call, Wes, nobody within 20 yards of that ball. And Caleb York absolutely just trying to get rid of it. And this is where it really gets frustrating for a football team. I mean, you're in Death Valley. The most exciting 25 seconds in college football. All this hoopla. You've got Clemson go straight down and score. You come out and you've got 3, 4 really good-looking plays. You're moving the chains up to midfield, and then you go every which way but forward.
Third down, and Wahala the line to meet. Not even close. Cleveland Farrell, redshirt freshman. They're excited about his potential, and they'll take the current day Cleveland there.
Well, just open up the floodgates, and that's one thing. Brent Venables' defense, boy, I don't envy him. An offensive line, you've got guys coming from the edge, linebackers from outside, safeties, cornerbacks, and you've got defensive linemen dropping into coverage. For a quarterback, as you mentioned, trying to learn a new system, trying to get this thing going in a loud, hostile environment like this.
Timeout. South Carolina State, their first of the half.
South Carolina State's going to take a timeout. They were a man short on punt cover. So Buddy Pugh's got to burn one of his 3 first-half timeouts. Bulldogs' first punt of the day when we come back to Tiger Town. In 34 as we rejoin you from Clemson. The number 5 Tigers already with a 7-0 lead, and now on the 6th play of this possession, South Carolina State will punt. Jerome Petway comes in averaging 40.2. That's 6th best in the MEAC.
32-yard average, the best punt returner in the nation about to get his hands on the rock.
Here's McLeod. Did he kick it too far? Coming near side at the 20 and stretches toward the 23 maybe. Did Ray McLeod. South Carolina State's Shaquan Brock made the tackle on a 55-yard punt. Our Hardy star to watch. Back out, boy, great to have Mike Williams back on the field in the ACC this year.
Absolutely. The neck injury last year in the opening drive against Wofford. Boy, he looks smooth so far. We've seen him with a nice catch down near the goal line already today. One of his offensive coordinators, Tony Elliott, told us yesterday, he's a combination of all the greats I've ever been around into one.
Cornell Powell on the field, and Wayne Gallman gets the carry. We've already seen now, James, I want to say, we've seen Williams, Scott, McLeod, Cornell Powell, one of the wide receivers to the top of the screen here. Gallman's already got 20 yards on 4 carries. It's 2nd down and 7. And Watson to throw. He's 5 for 5. And on cue, here's Williams to midfield for the first down as Henry makes the tackle, the strong safety. 23-yard throw here, Batesy.
You got to respect the speed. He bends it off. Nice open window right on the same page with Watson. And look at him. Giddy up right on. The ball looked like it might have hit the grass.
Yeah, Cornell Powell may have pulled it off his shoe tops there. Here's another look at Williams.
Here's the play before. Just way too much cushion. You've got a safety inside, but that's just way too easy. Not getting anything on a wide receiver. Give him an open inside lane, and Watson will take that all day long. They're going to take another look at this one because
the previous play of a completed catch is under further review.
Well, looked like the young man from Greenville, North Carolina, who was a top 5 prospect coming out of the Tar Heel State, might have caught that one off the top of the blade of the grass.
All right, remember, it can touch the ground just as long as the ground doesn't.
Oh, he had it.
No, he got it. Nice, strong fingers.
And then put it like a loaf of bread in that right hand, too, didn't he?
Just one more look.
I don't think it ever touches. Remember, ruling on the field was a catch, James, so.
Right. Yeah.
Every coach in America sees him clutch it in that right hand.
These high noon shadows. And I'll tell you what, Powell is the most concerned of all, because that gentleman right there, Dabo Swinney, when your head coach comes in and works with your position group all week long,
yes.
Hey, you know there's an emphasis, and you know that if there are any drops here today, you're going to hear about it, because that is, well, look at him, he's coaching. They're not worried about right now whether he caught it or not. He's just coaching. But and Dabo said it. He said, hey, we catch 6 of those 12 that we dropped in the first 2 games, and nobody's really talking about it, but it's just become an issue, and it's like hitting in baseball. It becomes contagious, and it certainly has for a unit that it has been spectacular in their careers here at Clemson. And guys like Hunter
After
Renfrow.
review, the ruling on the field stands. Second out.
Well, Stuart Mullins tells us we'll play on after the catch. And time for the forward keys to the game, Batesy.
All right, well, South Carolina State, it was up and at 'em. Get up and get going. You remind them that they've had some sloppy play, and, well, that hasn't happened so far for South Carolina State. And Clemson, it's as simple as that, especially the catch part. Just pitch it and catch it and play football the way you know how. It's not a maybe this is a number 5 team in the nation. This is a top 5 football team, and really the only thing that can stop them themselves dropping balls like that, having penalties, miscues, unforced errors.
Wayne Gallman makes it 3rd and short. And now first down and more for Gallman inside the 35, and look at the white shirts he's taking with him. Wow, great 2nd and 3rd effort by Wayne Gallman. Philip Henry was the first of about a half dozen South Carolina State Bulldogs there on an 11-yard run.
And then about 5 big offensive linemen there to help push the pile. Look at those big bodies up front, Guillermo and company.
Here's McLeod on the quick snap to the near side, and Ray McLeod going to be close to another first down. Powell banged him out of bounds.
Technically, Wes, you're not allowed to push that pile. They never call it in football. You see it all the time. But, talk about the momentum for a unit. An offensive line, when those big dogs, when they feel like they're getting fed, when they're eating, it's when you're running the football successfully. It's so demoralizing for a defense as well.
Second trip to the red zone in as many possessions for the Tigers. Watson out on the perimeter. Artavis Scott inside the 5. And it's 1st and goal again for Clemson.
And you see what it does for a defense that's been run on now. You run on them. Last week, not much there for them running the football, and so they don't respect the run. Here you've got to respect the run. You've got Gallman that's been running it down your throat here the last couple series, and that keeps those guys in tight trying to stop that run, and that's when you can run play action and swing it out and get some big yardage.
Watson looks left, throws for the end zone, juggled, and there's the first incompletion of the day. Deion Kane could not hang on against the coverage of Marquise Jones. 8 for his first 8 was Watson, James.
Good job by Jones to go up and make sure that number 9 was incomplete to rip it away. Giving up a few inches, but he raked it away, forcing 2nd and goal.
This time to the other side, and batted away that time. Philip Henry, the safety, defending the tight end Jordan Leggett.
Good job by Philip Henry recovering. He's beat right now. He's not peeking into the backfield. He put his head down and ran. He ran, and then when those eyes get big on the receiver, the hands go up, you come ripping through there. That's a nice defensive play for a guy initially was a step behind.
3rd and goal. Here's a toss, and Gallman will walk into the end zone. 3-yard run, Wayne Gallman's 2nd rushing score of the year. Ten plays, 76 yards, 257. Tigers have 2 touchdowns in their first 20 snaps of the football. And the point after makes it 14-0.
Playing with some edge and getting the edge into the end zone there.
Or to be great at anything you know, you've got to be very, very consistent, and you got to do it for a long period of time. Two teams that have had 5, 10-plus win seasons in a row, that's hard to do.
Well, his team is trying to maintain where best is the standard. I mean, it's on the walls in the indoor facility. It's a concept that he refuses to back off from, James. And in our visit with him yesterday, he refused to let the first 2 games influence this football team.
Yeah, very interesting sit down. Not sure what we were going to get. You know, the first thing he said when we went in there, hey, I guess it's not hard beating Auburn anymore.
Oh, jeez. Harris will take it in the end zone. Whoa. Wait a second. He just flipped it over there. Ahmad Harris just flipped the ball over, and Clemson's recovered it. Oh, my goodness. Denzel Johnson, I think, recovered this in the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, we all knew coming in, Buddy Pugh especially, that they were going against one of the best kick cover teams in the nation. That's just not letting guys get much after they catch the ball. They take it to another level right here and put 6 points on the board in the 3rd phase of the game. Here's the end of it now. Thought it was going to bounce out of the back of the end zone.
No, he was flipping it to the official like he thought he was down, and they were going to put it at the 25. Watch.
Fair catches it after West. He knew he was wrong as soon as he flipped it.
He never made a signal. He never made a signal and just flipped the ball. Never touched the knee, never did anything. Fumble in the end zone, recovered by Johnson, and it's 21-0. And Buddy Pugh and Ahmad Harris having a little skull session. And that's a one-way conversation going on there, Coach Bates.
I feel bad for the kid. You know, I mean, go blank immediately like that, you know, and the official, good job by the official to get out of the way and not accept it.
That's an unforced error you cannot afford. Now watch this. No signal, nothing. Now remember, I'm just going to give you the angle. In high school, when the ball is caught in the end zone, when it breaks the plane of the goal line, it's an automatic touchback.
Right.
But Ahmad Harris is a long way from Peachtree Ridge in Atlanta in high school ball. He'd been to UCLA, gotten a degree, and now playing a grad year in Orangeburg.
Well, first kickoff that he received, took a knee.
Right.
Did it the right way. This time he knew it as soon as he got rid of it. Like, well, I meant to down it. And this time he absolutely does. And gives it back to the official.
Boy, the Tigers have scored early and often.
Putting some points on the board. 2 big touchdowns on offense. The opening drive, they take it right down the throats of this Bulldog defense, and then running the football to get down there. Little swing over to Scott, and a nice easy stroll into the end zone by Gallman. Ensuing kickoff. All right, let's take it out. Play some offense. Wait, I meant to fair catch it.
And a cheap one for the Tigers.
Well, that's why on special teams, that's why in everything, you always hustle. And that's why you're taught defensively especially, be around that football. Even if you're not in on the tackle, ball is going to pop out of a pile. That's how you recover those fumbles. Ball bounce off somebody's pads. Be around that football. And hustle is the only thing that's going to get you there. And heart is the only thing that's going to get you there. And a good job hustling down by the kick cover team.
Here's York moving to his right. Marker thrown, and he'll throw it into the Bulldog bench. Big number 90 was flushing out Caleb York. And we'll check the flag. Dorian O'Daniel was also back there. But Stuart Mullins will tell us about the penalty here.
Illegal formation, more than 4 players in the backfield. Offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
All right. Buddy Pugh's got a penalty, Jen.
Well, on that sideline over there, I'm not going to speak for what it's like. I'm sure Buddy Pugh very frustrated. But on this Clemson sideline, as you might imagine, a very good feeling. They feel like they've got some good mojo down here. 21-0 will do that for you. But that was something we wanted to watch coming into this game. And I've been watching Deshaun Watson in particular. He's been bouncing around when the music's on. He's high-fiving everybody. The whole team got up for kickoffs. So certainly they feel like they've got things going in the right direction over here.
York got drilled as he cut it loose. Intended for Konami McIntosh. Boy, and he took a huge lick.
Well, he's been popped a few times here, and we're not even out of the first quarter. What's really got to be frustrating for the Bulldogs, too, is all of the penalties that they've had. G.A. Mangus telling me, week 1, we had 12 penalties, just 3 last week with the new system, and unable to handle the pressure of Death Valley so far, that's for sure.
3 and out go the Bulldogs. McLeod will signal for the fair catch and do so around the 35-yard line. Very workmanlike effort by the Tigers so far. 2 touchdown drives and then a special team score, and the faithful here at Frank Howard Field at Memorial Stadium pretty exciting.
I would agree with Dabo Swinney. He told us yesterday, he said, he acted almost like we got the rest of the country right where we want. He said, now we've got an edge. Think about it. Nobody believed in them last year, so they played with a chip on their shoulders last year, Wes. They weren't the target. Nobody was talking about them. Nobody gave them a chance, so it was they stayed hungry. And now you got to approach it in a whole new way. And speaking of new way, here's Schuessler.
Yep.
Nick Schuessler at quarterback for Clemson. And, we thought we'd see a lot of guys early on. Still the first quarter.
Schuessler to the backside, the catch by Travion Thompson. And Nick Schuessler makes his 14th career appearance. 64% completion rate, 230 yards, no career touchdown passes, but you see the particulars for Schuessler. And the carry made by C.J. Fuller. So the redshirt sophomore from Easley, who had 171 yards of rushing a season ago, brought down by Darius Leonard. Close to another first down.
Sorry, Wes, how about Big John Simpson leading the way? Just a freshman, 315 pounds. Boy, that was pretty. Big man left guard got up and was moving.
Play fake by Schuessler. Going to take the deep shot. And caught in stride for the score. DeAndre Overton. 45-yard touchdown pass from Nick Schuessler. Well, the fellas in orange are making this look very workmanlike. The point after. And it's 28-0, James.
Well, just as we talked with Dabo Swinney, dropping these footballs is contagious. You know what else is contagious? Catching them. Here's Schuessler. Good protection up front. Plenty of time. And, even Overton, coming out of his break, there was a little bit of a stumble. And you can't help but think, here he is down at the bottom. Go ahead and roll it, guys. Just a little stick, bend it inside. And the defensive back gets caught, and his pedal doesn't get his hips flipping around. And a nice, easy pitch and catch. But he's coming out of that break. A little bit of a stumble. You can't help but think, against Troy, some way, somehow, they don't catch that ball, but that's why he's so excited, because he knows, hey, we get this cleaned up, and we've got a football team that can do it in 3 phases of the football game, and right now it doesn't even take Deshaun Watson. Nick Schuessler threw that one.
Jim, Quarterbacks have been sharp. Receivers have been pretty good, too.
Now, this is a little bit more, I think, what Clemson expected, but I heard offensive coordinator Jeff Scott saying to his wide receivers after the first 2 drives, congratulating, saying, great job. We've had 2 fast drives. This is what we've been talking about. I want you guys to just keep this thing going, and I'd say they did.
Harris will touch a knee. South Carolina State will play from its 25. Well, week 3, big Saturday, biggest Saturday of the fall. Well, what about the return of James Conner? Huge win for the Panthers last week. And they're in Stillwater, America later today to meet the Pokes. Then, of course, you got Deshaun Watson. You got Brad Kaya. You got DeAndre Francois. And then there's this guy at Louisville, James.
Lamar Jackson. And Jackson and his Cardinals will take on those mighty Seminoles. Right now, they're going at it. High noon up there in Louisville, Kentucky. And how about that? Lamar Jackson. He is for real. He and his Cards, 14 zip early on against the Seminoles. Wow. But you know, hey, we had our first 2 weeks, this crew of the season.
Yep.
We had Louisville, and then we had Florida State. One huge hit that I absolutely hate for college football, hate it for the kid and his family. Derwin James, just a sophomore, hurt his knee later in the game in our broadcast last week for FSU, and I think his open field tackling ability is going to hurt him big time today against Jackson.
Intercepted. Picked off by Johnson. 15, 10, pulled down at the 1, Jadar Johnson. Leonard Jameson made the touchdown-saving tackle on the interception.
Boy, the pressure's starting to get to Caleb York. Try to buy him a little bit of time with the play fake. He gets those eyes up, and immediately the pressure's there. Tries to force it out, and Jadar Johnson almost made it before we're even out of the first quarter. A touchdown in special teams, offense, and defense, but just tripped up before he can punch it into the end zone. Couple pass breaks up against the Auburn Tigers in week 1. Had the interception. Jadar Johnson did against Auburn as well.
Well, and here is sophomore Kelly Bryant in at quarterback. 3rd different QB we've seen for the Tigers. And Bryant trying to step out of traffic cannot. He'll be pulled down back at the 6-yard line by Gregtavius Newell. So Kelly Bryant out of Calhoun Falls, South Carolina, 6'3", 215-pound sophomore. And Bryant runs out of bounds back at the 9. Shaquan Brock, the dog backer in this 4-3 defense employed by Buddy Pugh, shoved him out. It's a loss of 7 now on 2 snaps. And the 3rd and goal faces the Tigers here.
Here comes Watson back in too. You know, Coach Sweeney, he said, I want to get some of these backs, some of these receivers, offensive linemen, and now we see the quarterbacks in there early. Get them in there, get them lathered up in pregame, and don't make them sit for a couple hours before they play.
3rd and goal, Watson to the end zone for Williams. Caught it, got knocked out of bounds. Well defended by Devondre Powell, the boundary corner. So Clemson is turned away here with 1:44 to go in the first.
Now, as a receiver, you need to remember, you run that route, you line up a little bit further inside so you have some room to wiggle. That's good coverage, and if you're lined up too wide, didn't see the initial snap right there, but you're lined up too wide, there's no room for that quarterback to put that ball, put it the only place he could. Unfortunately for the Tigers, it was out of bounds.
26-yard try for Hugel, who is 5 for 5 on the year. Longest was 40 on opening night at Auburn, and that is perfect. So the 26-yard field goal, and it is 31-0 with 99 seconds to go here in the first period.
You know, there are a lot of spoiled fans in college football.
Yeah.
I don't know that there are too many spoiled fans right now, from what I'm seeing anyway, in Clemson, South Carolina. For everybody talking about, you hear coming in, oh, the sky is falling. Oh, wow, we look slow, we drop these balls. This doesn't look like, it doesn't act like a crowd that's down on their team. They're fired up to be 2-0, and they're fired up to see it rocking here on a Saturday afternoon in September in Death Valley. What an awesome experience.
Well, they got a win streak going. You see, October of 13, the last time they suffered a loss. And, of course, that was the world-famous Jameis Winston game here on a Saturday night. And the Tigers will play Thursday night in Atlanta. And then 2 weeks from today, James, the Louisville Cardinals visit here. And based on the early returns from Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, be interesting to see how that one sets up on the scale, won't it?
Absolutely. How lucky has our crew been? Look at these great college football venues. We started there in Louisville, then Doak Campbell Stadium, Tallahassee last weekend. Here we are in Death Valley today.
Harris will touch a knee.
Oh, man, I don't even know. He better be careful. If I'm going to go all the way down and pause it for a second when I take a knee.
Quick reminder, next week's edition of ACC All Access. Check your local listings, 5:30 Eastern Time around most of the country. One of the best names in football, Bronco Mendenhall, the new leader of the Virginia Cavaliers. We'll talk about his unique philosophy on the game and why he left BYU for Mr. Jefferson's University. That comes up with Olivia Harlan hosting next week on ACC All Access. We'll be in Charlottesville next Saturday at 12:30 for the Wahoos and the Chippewas of Central Michigan. And a nice play in space there. The catch was made for South Carolina State by Traquan Dubose, but the tackle was made by Trayvon Mullen, who fought around a would-be blocker on the perimeter for no gain. Nicely done by the Tigers defensive.
Hi, Trey. I'm Trey. Nice to meet you, Trey.
Second in the full 10 for York. And he'll hand the ball to Morris, and the freshman from Decatur, Georgia. Back to the line of scrimmage. Well, the Tigers have invested now. They've done very well in recruiting. A lot of people know that. You're starting to see some of that pay off in the potential of a sophomore like a Christian Wilkins, but you're also seeing today, we've already called his name a couple times, big number 90, Dexter Lawrence, in that Tiger front.
Just a freshman, too. I mean, we've already seen Wilkins, who's a sophomore. Dexter Lawrence is a freshman. Big, big athletic bodies up front. And answering the questions that people have coming in on defense.
York trying to swing it from the pocket. He will be sacked. Tigers got there. Scott Pagano brings down York. Third sack by the Tigers already in this first half, and that will likely be the final play of the first period. And South Carolina State going to go 3 and out. It's a 5-yard loss on the sack. And that will take us likely to the end of the first quarter. Well, Dabo Swinney's number 5 Tigers, James, have been very workmanlike here in the opening 15. Touchdown passes placed behind the line by guys like Wilkins. Gallman has scored on the ground. They scored in special teams, and even the reserves have gotten a marker in the opening 15 at Clemson. Of the Atlantic Coast Conference, Haviland, Food Lion, and by Toyota. Let's go places. Well, a gift from the class of 1939, a memorial to those classmates who gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country in World War II, and of course, Clemson's military history has been well documented throughout the years, and we welcome you back to Frank Howard Field at Memorial Stadium. We start the second quarter with a South Carolina State punt. Petaway will drop it to McLeod at the 30. Ray looking for a seam, 40. Midfield, cuts back, and into South Carolina State territory to the 39 goes Ray McLeod. 49-yard punt and a return of 30 yards. And Jermaine Baxley covering it for the Bulldogs.
Good job, guys, getting down there. He makes the first guy miss and then a couple more. And good hustle. Special teams-wise, we've seen it throughout the day, seen it really throughout the season. And here's your game summary through one quarter of play. And we're not looking really good after 15 if you're a Bulldog fan, but Clemson fans have to be pretty happy. Deshaun Watson back in there now.
Artavis Scott on first down. Picks up 4. It'll be second down and 6, and Watson gets the Tigers moving through the gearbox. Clemson set school history in the opening 15 minutes, James. They've never scored 31 points in a quarter. And they even also set the history books. First time they scored 2 touchdowns with no time coming off the clock. Here's Watson to Williams, and good play in space, and that's Jones, the field corner, fighting through some of that traffic to make the hit on Mike Williams.
Absolutely. That's knowing what they're trying to come at you with, not getting yourself hung up, getting yourself blocked, and just snuffing it out. And so, it was 31. It could have been 35 had they not stalled down on the goal line, and that was with the third-string quarterback coming in. And now here's a chance Deshaun Watson trying to move the chains one more time.
4 for 5 on third down. Watson resets it twice. Now going to throw. Looks for McLeod to catch. South Carolina State got crossed up in the secondary, and the Tigers are in the end zone.
I don't care who you are. You can't ask a defensive back, whether they play at South Carolina State or FSU, to cover a guy for 15 seconds. Here's an ISO on the outside with McLeod, and, just peeking into the backfield. And, yeah, you've got to be there to help out eventually if Deshaun Watson decides to tuck it and run. But first things first, you got to take care of that deep man. You got to know where that receiver is. Deshaun Watson using his legs, by a little bit of time outside. How's that for hopping around? Ray and Deshaun. It's 38-0.
Oh, beautiful day here at Clemson. We welcome you back inside Memorial Stadium at Frank Howard Field, and Oliver Buddy Pugh. As one of the old basketball coaches in this part of the country used to say, Buddy's in a sword fight with a pocket knife today, James. Deshaun Watson is 11 of 14 for 135. 2 scores, both to Ray McLeod, 4 catches for 60 yards for the young man McLeod. And Harris will touch a knee. Well, we told you Ray's taking the roof off of it twice. He's got our works carrying the load.
Close range in the first quarter, and he kept moving for his quarterback. A lot of times you have those guys working back to the quarterback when they're in trouble. He knew where to go. It was all eyes were up there on Deshaun Watson. He crept out the back door, and 2 touchdowns. That one a little bit easier than most in the career of Ray McLeod.
Here is York and the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. LeBron Morris gets a couple of yards. Christian Wilkins in there, 42. There's a look at Jalen Williams, weak side linebacker. There's Christian from Springfield, Mass.
Bishop Ford, the redshirt freshman, a pretty good back, a smaller guy, but a good back for this offense. He's got a bad ankle, and they're going to need him in those MEAC games, so they're protecting him today. Could have gone if he had to. You get the feeling.
Wow, Morris took a big hit, trying to find the seam on the edge. South Carolina State only had 5 rushing yards prior to the carry there. Trey Lamar. And there's big Lawrence jogging off for the Tigers.
Boy, big hits from some young guns, too. Boom.
So now third down. And here's South Carolina State. 1 of 3 today. Remember, they got a converted third down on their opening drive where they had 6 snaps and then punted.
Big wide splits.
And offline there. Intended for Quan Caldwell, the redshirt sophomore from Chester.
Good job by Mullen. One thing that these Clemson defensive backs have done a great job of, and you see it right there, is being physical, getting those hands on those receivers and not letting them just run free from the get-go and have some free space to run. It's one thing you haven't seen from the Bulldogs defensively. Clemson wide receivers making them pay. Good physicality, first, second, third team guys in the secondary for the guys in orange.
McLeod waits on another punt. Just kind of hangs to him at the 30. First guy missed. Ray 40, 45. Lowers the shoulder and drives it to midfield. About a 20-yard return of a 41-yard punt by Ray McLeod. Pretty fearless, James. They were closing in around him on the punt return.
Well, and that's good to see. I mean, it's needless to say, a little embarrassing last week, dropping the ball before he went into the end zone, but you haven't seen 34 hang his head at all. Offensively, he's getting involved in a big way, and these punt returns, I mean, that's huge. Tuckett make that first guy miss, and you get it up across midfield for your offense.
Tavian Feaster working right side and a big run. Almost 16 yards on first down for Feaster, the freshman and state player of the year from Spartanburg. Freeman and Taylor, the tackle for South Carolina State at the 34.
Well, we asked Dabo yesterday, who are you excited to see outside the norm? Some younger guys, and Feaster was one of the first names came out of his mouth. Excited to see some more of 28 here today.
And he'll bang for a couple of yards. Shaquille Crouch and Jalen Kosar make the stop. Cordell Brown also there out of Myrtle Beach for South Carolina State. Second and long. Sling out here on the near side, and this is Powell, and he'll have enough for the first down to the 22-yard line. Well, the Tigers' names have popped up every February, James, around those recruiting charts. And you can see why. A lot of ammunition on both sides of the ball here for Dabo Swinney. Absolutely.
One taking snaps right now, too, and sophomore Kelly Bryant.
Yep. And Bryant trying to fight back to the line of scrimmage. A little confusion on the mesh. Shaquan Brock stuck his hat in there to make the stop for South Carolina State.
In the second and 11.
There's Bryant on the read play, going to keep it, and Darius Leonard had some help waiting for him at linebacker. Freeman, Vontae Freeman, the sophomore from Charlotte there, 37. Involved in the stop, so very quickly third and full 10 now for Kelly Bryant. And Watson's come back in. Oh, they got the Bulldogs leaning.
Free play.
Throw it to the end zone and overthrows Brown. Or Powell, beg your pardon.
You know, once again, there's 27 on the coverage, playing until the very end. Doesn't give up after jumping off sides.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Talk about a full plate for these defensive backs, but Marquise Williams has done a pretty good job today, number 27. With a lot sitting there that he's dealing with every single snap. Playing hard.
Here's Watson. Looking end zone for Deion Kane. Touchdown Clemson. And Devondre Powell had pretty good position and coverage, Batesy, but just two better football players making the play.
Well, better, yeah, and taller definitely. I mean, Deion Kane, he's got about 3-4 inches. And here's the ISO. Devondre Powell, the junior from Miami, Jackson. I mean, he's played in some great football games. And a good job there by Kane to, subtly just kind of put those hands on the shoulders. It's hard enough when you're already giving up quite a few inches, but it's even harder when you've got a bigger, heavier guy that's using you to boost a little bit. Good coverage until Deshaun Watson puts it right on the money, and Deion Kane hangs on to the ball.
Oh, yeah, this summer. A little ceremonial presentation. Dabo Swinney got to see some of my man Batesy's artwork.
Yeah, I'm proud of that.
You should be.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you what, you've got this Jen, I tell you, we're proud of our man Bates for what he does with the artwork stuff, and Dabo Sweeney, the latest guy to be impressed.
Yeah, you know, Wes, I'm really just wondering when he's going to turn around and surprise us with some sort of little broadcast team painting that he's put together. I'm a little afraid. Love your art, Batesy, but you have a wicked sense of humor mixed in there, too.
Well, thank you, Jen. How about a velvet West Durham? Would you like one for your room?
Oh.
I'm going to put it over my mantle.
No, you wouldn't.
Okay.
Yes, I would.
No, not unless you get a really good light, please.
You know, it's not hard to paint objects and people with such great energy, and I mean that sincerely. I mean, it really was fun to kind of capture who he is. And you know what? Some people may take this the wrong way as we take it a step further here with Dabo Sweeney, the head man of the Tigers, and just all the incredible things that he's done after taking over, after Tommy Bowden left. But, you know, what he said to us yesterday was he had a team that had some questions, that they had to clean some things up, and they had to play like he knew they were capable. He knew his team knew they were capable of, and he said, you know what? I feel sorry for South Carolina State. I really do. But that's just the way this thing works. Yeah. And that's what you're seeing right now with 45-0 in a heartbeat is him making sure that his guys are full metal jacket from the opening kickoff. And they have played some very crisp football this afternoon.
York completes the pass to Ruger, and you see Kendall Joseph, that middle linebacker, redshirt sophomore, in on the stop. He's one of those new guys on defense. People were wondering, could Brent Venables put it together again? And so far, so good for the Tigers in that light. And they hand the ball inside to DeAndre Brown, who led them last week in rushing against Louisiana Tech. And Chris Register made the stop there, Jen.
It's certainly been a big challenge here for South Carolina State, as you would imagine. I talked to Buddy Pugh, and he's good friends with Dabo Sweeney. In fact, Buddy Pugh's son, Bud Pugh, is on the staff, works in compliance here at Clemson, and he knew what he was in for today. But Coach Pugh told me before the game, he said, look, I just want us to play like we belong on this field, get some execution, get ready for our league play, which starts next week.
And that time, Brown, 6'1", 236 from Varnville, preseason All-MEAC, worked his way out toward the first down. And
well, it looked like, I don't know, they got a great spot there. It looked like he had the first down.
I thought he did as well, just beyond the 25, and now they do award the first down, or at the 24.5. Second first down of this opening half for South Carolina State. Well, Buddy Pugh knows next week's ball game in Tallahassee against Florida A&M is the start of the MEAC run for his Bulldogs. Inside Brown, well read by Richard Yeargin. And so the tackle by Big 49, who's 6'5", 260, peeling off that end. So now 2nd and 11 on a loss of 1. Tigers have played a lot of players, James, in this first half as well. We still got to the midway point of the second 15-minute set. York to throw. And offline, looking for Ruger. And it will be 3rd and 11. J.D. Davis, a legacy here at Clemson, in coverage for the Tigers.
You know, Wes, you talk about all the Tigers that have played. I really like that mindset coming into a football game like this, because, you know, it's pretty tough to go out there, get all jazzed up with your buddies, get warmed up, and then sit and wait until late in the third quarter before you get your chance and really shine like you know how. It's nice that has stuck so many young guys in so early.
Little wheel route, and Morris took a big lick by Ryan Carter, one of a handful of guys out of the fine Grayson High School program just outside of Atlanta. And boy, Carter really lowered the boom that time on LeBron Morris.
Yeah, and you know, one of my favorite things to see a defensive guy do is to make up his mind he's going to go make a play before the receiver, before the skill guy can really get his feet set and make a move on you. So many guys will hesitate and go up and just kind of break down, and then you got a guy that's obviously talented, so much wiggle room, just light it up and they can't do anything. That's what Carter does there.
Adrian Dunn on the punt return for the Tigers. Trying to find a seam, pushes it to the outside. Midfield for Dunn. And to the 43-yard line of South Carolina State on a 44-yard punt. Adrian Dunn gives Clemson a plus field start on a 35-yard return. Local guy from Clemson doing good. Tigers back to work, leading big in the first half. The switch drive helped our crew get ready to bring you the broadcast here today at Clemson. Good to see Joe Bowie handling the works switch drive. Attaboy, Joe.
Yeah.
Come on, Joe. Come on. Come on. Yeah, over here, Joe. Right here. Yeah, thanks. One of the luminaries.
So what you're saying is Joe was working today screwing things up?
No, making them better. Nick Schuessler in there. And Schuessler
Hands
the ball to Adam Choice. And the tackle made by Tyler Smith. Schuessler's 2 for 2, 54 yards, a touchdown. Deshaun Watson's thrown for 3 scores on 12 of 15 and 152. Second and loss of 1, little delay, and here goes Choice. Working his way inside the 40 toward the 38-yard line. Darius Leonard the stop for South Carolina State. Well, Tigers had to get back to work, James. Here are the first 2 games of last year and the first 2 games of this year, and I think this is why most of the analysts and pundits were a little surprised at maybe where Clemson, their start so far.
Well, in the struggles, there were a lot of plays that were there. They just got to make them, and so far today, they've been making them. They've been hanging on to this ball.
Garrett Williams picks up the first down to the 25-yard line. The sophomore from Orlando coming in at tight end.
Pretty deep at tight end behind Leggett.
James, you know the story of the young man Williams?
I do not. I like his 44, though.
Well, I know you like 44. We'll tell you Williams' story here in just a moment. We get a first down play from Schuessler. And over the head of Choice, incomplete. Young Garrett Williams' dad was Dane Williams, who played football at Florida State. Now, James, he just didn't play football at Florida State. He's involved in one of the greatest Florida State plays ever. His dad. Now, what's one of the greatest Florida State plays ever? That occurred at Clemson.
Oh, really?
The punt-rooski.
Oh, really?
He was the middle guy on the punt-rooski.
Wow.
He gave the ball ultimately to Leroy Butler in 1988.
I didn't know that. Garrett comes to Clemson.
Garrett comes to Clemson. His dad's involved in the punt-rooski. It's a wonder they let him in town, let alone on a visit. He must be a heck of a player.
I'll say.
How about that?
Man, just a sophomore. All right, I like that. Thanks for digging that one up.
I knew you would.
That is one of the greatest plays, not just in Florida State history, but college football.
Third down and now 14 for Schuessler in this Tiger offense. South Carolina State thought they might have gotten an early start. Schuessler avoids the rush. Now going to load it. Shoot it here to the near side. Catch made by Thompson. Now a flag is out on the play. And Trevion Thompson, the catch. And pretty good presence by your man Schuessler there. First penalty of the day against the Tigers, by the way, for a hold.
It was that left edge of the line. Looked like somebody had a hold of Greg Tavius Newell. And they don't move him back, but you're right. Schuessler looked good moving those feet.
So Buddy Pugh will take the penalty. And they reset the play clock.
That brings up third and 3 for the Tigers.
That may have gotten away with one there.
Yeah, I thought John L. Brown got a little start there. And now Stuart Mullins trying to get the game mechanics put together. Tigers are 7 of 8 on third down. Clemson's got 45 points with 4 minutes to play here in this first half. And now Schuessler scrambling out of the pocket. He'll keep it to the backside and be escorted out of bounds by Tyler Smith all the way almost to that far side wall.
I'm glad they didn't throw a flag. Hometown flag. Fans wanted a flag here. But I think Tyler Smith does a good job of holding him up. He doesn't throw him to the ground. It's just momentum.
And Stuart Mullins arbitrates it.
Maybe from way up here, maybe I didn't see that extra shove.
And here is Hugel to try the field goal, 42-yard try. 43, just beyond the 42 for the sophomore redshirt. This would be his longest of the year. And it is blocked. And with 3:43 to go, Darius Leonard swatted that away for South Carolina State. So Clemson is turned away for the first time in 8 offensive possessions. Big lead for the Tigers. ACC football on a Saturday. We welcome you back to Clemson, South Carolina, Memorial Stadium. Frank Howard Field, where number 5 Clemson has made this look very easy in the opening half. Caleb York at quarterback, and South Carolina State out to about the 29-yard line for York on their 7th possession of this first half. Tanner Muse playing in the Clemson secondary up to make the stop. A redshirt freshman from just outside of Charlotte.
Nice 4-yard pickup. They got to be careful with York. They got this MEAC schedule coming right up after this one.
Back across his body, and the pass is caught by Jamison. Boy, took a big shot from Mullen. James, we were talking earlier about the recruiting that Clemson's done. You start looking, Trayvon Mullen is a 6'2 freshman from Pompano Beach. I mean, just big corners, big safeties.
Big-time players down there Pompano Beach way. Lamar Jackson's a Pompano Beach guy. Went to Boynton Beach High School. Way to come up big for Jamison there for South Carolina State, Wes. That was a tough catch to go back behind his body knowing he was going to take a big pop to move the chains.
And the ball to Morris, and the Tigers rally quickly. Chris Register, who battled injuries a year ago, originally arrived here as a linebacker. He and Jalen Williams helped make the stop. And we work our way inside 2.5 to go. And York on a little read play. Flag down. Ball pop loose. Tigers say they have it at the 35, and they do. Albert Huggins has recovered it. Big sophomore from Orangeburg. But there is a flag on the play at the 36.
Offside. Defense. Number 50. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Jabril Robinson's violation will offset the fumble recovery by Albert Huggins.
So here's the strip at the end that's all for naught. York carrying it a little bit too loose away from that body. When you're in traffic like that, man, you've got to secure that rock. And a good job defensively. You know, walking by the defensive rooms yesterday, those defensive linemen, the linebackers, meeting rooms, they actually have, Wes, a football that is on a very heavy spring that's mounted to the wall. And what they do, I mean, those guys, they go in there, they go walking into the meeting room, and they give it like a karate chop, if you will. And that's exactly, it just teaches them, go after that football. That's what this game is all about.
South Carolina State has brought DeJuan Ford in at quarterback.
Number 14.
Denzel
Defense.
Johnson.
The ball replaced the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Denzel Johnson, who recovered that fumble by Ahmad Harris in the end zone on the kick return fumble, if you will. One of the more bizarre plays.
Denzel, a guy that at Dabo, we asked him, hey, your special team's playing some good ball right now. Who are a couple guys that stand out? Denzel Johnson and Dorian O'Daniel.
Yep.
Two guys immediately that he went to.
So Ford has come in at quarterback. Redshirt freshman, 6'2" and 180 pounds. Hands the ball to Morris, trying to work to the near side. And a good open field play by Mark Fields. His dad, a two-time Pro Bowler. He played in the Charlotte area for a
Gain of 2 yards.
former Tiger, Miles Aldridge. Did Fields. And now York's come back in at quarterback to replace Ford. 3 receivers in the set here in the final minute 6. York tried to go back to Morris on 2nd and long, and it's incomplete. Register got in there to pressure York for Clemson.
Good job picking the blitz up top, but then the big guys up front finally pushed through and get in the face of York, forcing them to speed it up a little bit. There's Brent Venables, defensive coordinator.
Boy, he's been good here.
He certainly has been. A lot of time on my defensive coordinator staff. Bob Stoops is my coach at Florida, now the head man at OU.
2nd and 6. And the conversion. York tried to fire across the field. The ball was caught by Jamison, and he worked against Mullen to try and get the first down. And South Carolina State's going to convert the 3rd and long. 5th first down of this opening half for the Bulldogs as we're under a minute to go now.
Nice play, Jamison. We've seen 2 big plays on this drive by the sophomore 24. A tough catch earlier this time. Extra effort to move the chains.
And breaking free is Brown now into the Tigers secondary. Best running play of the day for South Carolina State. Their longest drive is Muse and Mullen make the play for Clemson at the 34.
Back over the ball in a hurry. Good job to get set up, and they go right back to the ground. You're going to have to use one of those timeouts now. But, this is a problem against Troy, remember. It was a Clemson team that was looking pretty good, and then, let their guard down a little bit, as they will take a timeout. Let their guard down a little bit there late in the game and allow Troy to kind of come roaring back in with some of those backups. So you're going to have to go 4 quarters, not just, preaching that big, fast start, which they got today, but they need to finish right here and at least preserve this shutout in the first half.
Well, the Tigers conducted their business very deliberately, James, in the opening session, didn't it?
Oh, and they looked sharp. It looked like a football team that knew they needed to come out here in TCB and take care of business. Is just what they did, with a little help from their friends from Orangeburg, South Carolina, and a little help from some guys who are getting into the mix that may not play quite as much as number 4 and company, guys like Ray McLeod and Deshaun Watson here later on this season. But it sure has been fun to watch all these different parties getting involved. Deion Kane, athletic ability and the strength to go up, and most importantly, Clemson Tiger fans catching that football, looking it in, hands up, elbows up above those eyes and pulling it down.
Here's York now, 2nd and long, going to take the deep shot. Looking for McIntosh, and it's batted away in the end zone. Mark Fields was able to slap it away. And now it'll be 3rd and long.
This is the speedster, McIntosh. He had to wait so much on it, couldn't take advantage of his speed. And man, he getting beat up a little bit. No blood, no foul, I guess, but making sure Mark Fields making sure he's staying put down there on the ground. But
York to throw, and tried to throw it at Morris. A flag will come out.
It's going to be a hold.
Pagano was in there in the mix for Clemson, and he might have been held, but let's see. And it is. Penalty will be declined. It's 4th down.
10-second runoff.
Penalties declined. 4th down.
Yep, it was Pagano, junior from Honolulu. So they'll run off 10 seconds here, but Clemson.
Clemson declines the penalty, so there'll be the runoff doesn't occur. So 14 seconds left here, and 4th down for South Carolina State. Tiger fans in the bright sunshine. Back across the middle, Jamison couldn't hang on to that one. Boy, York took a beating from Big Dexter Lawrence as he cut that one loose. That is a big man, James.
Oh, absolutely. And just a hard shot, not too high. Good job by Lawrence to come down low and not hit him up in the head or neck area. So it's a hard pop, but a clean legal shot, most importantly. Got to be so careful now. I mean, you can only imagine rushing that passer all day long. You're taught you got to get to him and get him down. Got to be careful when you get there. Doubleheader today, right?
Yep, 2 scoops. Carolina, James Madison from beautiful Kenan Stadium at 3:30. And the final play of this first half will be Tyshawn Dye, the redshirt junior from Elberton, Georgia, running to the far side, and that will take care of the clock here at the end of the opening 30 minutes. Clemson scored touchdowns on 5 of their first 6 possessions. They threw a field goal in on the other, and they lead big here at the break. 45-0, and Jen's got Coach Sweeney.
Thank you, Wes. Well, Coach, I have to say, after that first half, do you maybe feel, at least looking at your offense, like that's a little more like it?
Yeah, that's what happens when you catch football. I don't think we dropped the ball the whole half. And, that's what happens. We get in rhythm and we play with tempo and everybody gets involved. Just very well executed. I think we scored every possession except for the missed field goal right there. So, just a complete effort. And that's what we wanted to see. Offense, defense, and special teams impacting the game. And it's good to see it.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, Jen. Thanks to Dabo Sweeney. Tigers in firm control. 45-0 at the half. ACC football is brought to you by Wix Filters. Go to wixfilters.com to find a local distributor near you. Official corporate champions of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Geico, New York Life, and by Bojangles. Well, there's a look inside what has been renovated and recreated Little John Coliseum. And Brad Brownell's Clemson Tigers will open that facility on November 11th when they host Georgia. And we welcome you back to Clemson. 45-0, and time for today's DQ Fan Cam. Batesy, brought to you by Dairy Queen, and good strong group here for South Carolina State. 5 days later, Clemson will be in Atlanta to meet Georgia Tech. And then 2 weeks from today, you think Louisville and Clemson might draw a folk or two in here?
Boy, Louisville looking good in the first half as well. And they're playing Florida State. Speaking of Dairy Queen, how about them here at Clemson up in the press box? We got halftime meal of chili dogs and ice cream.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm a happy dude.
Is that right in your wheelhouse?
Yeah.
South Carolina State will have the football to start the second half. And the Tigers, you see Alex Spence, who punted once in his first half. You hear that the mutual agreement of the coaches, and this game has now been shortened to 12-minute quarters. So the third and fourth period will be reduced by 3 minutes each.
Well, there you go. That makes up for the short week playing Georgia Tech, right? A couple extra minutes to prepare.
You know what? You'd be surprised. But Clemson, and we'll talk with Jen about this because Dabo Sweeney, we thought he played a lot of players. He played a lot of players. And the kick by Spence through the end zone. Bulldogs are going to scrimmage from their 25. And here's the Tigers on defense.
Oh, some of the young guns, too, getting it started. There's Christian Wilkins with 1 of 3 sacks. Farrell getting in on the action as well. Dexter Lawrence had another good first half. Interception by Jadar Johnson. That's what the pressure will do on those quarterbacks. What does it all total up to? Well, just 1 net yard rushing. Scott Pagano in there as well, the junior from Moanalua High School. How's that in Honolulu? We'll call him the Bounty Hunter because that's where the Bounty Hunter used to shoot his show from too. Make it easy.
York and Caleb York going to keep it and slide down shy of the 30.
Gosh, Wes, I used to be a little bit better when I was out in the Mountain West Conference with Bronco Mendenhall and all the Polynesian guys he had. Just got to pronounce those vowels.
And there's a look at Denzel Johnson shaking up on the kick. to start this half. Remember, he recovered the fumble by Harris in the end zone for the touchdown. And now on 2nd and 5, Brown is slowed down after a yard. DeAndre Brown. Dexter Lawrence in there, big number 90. And also Kendall Joseph for these Tigers. Play Georgia Tech on Thursday night to get week 4 in the ACC started at Grant Field in Atlanta. Jackets are playing Vanderbilt in one of the Power 5 games on the non-conference slate today in the ACC. There are 3 games that feature an ACC against a Power 5 team. That ball's thrown out of bounds. That's a hold on South Carolina State. And Clemson's going to decline it and make it 4th down.
Holding. Number 52. Offense. Penalties declined. 4th down.
You got Vanderbilt, Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh at Oklahoma State, and of course late tonight Duke at Northwestern. Those are the Power 5 matchups involving ACC play. You got 2 conference games, the Florida State-Louisville game, and of course BC Virginia Tech still to come this afternoon. And here is Petaway. And Cornell Powell, a freshman from Eastern North Carolina, will signal for and make the fair catch at the 35-yard line. Underway in the 3rd. Tigers will take over when we come back to Clemson. ACC football is brought to you by Works. Leaves are falling. It's work season. Well, the statue of the namesake, Thomas Green Clemson, here on the campus in the upstate with James Bates, Jen Hildreth, our great ACC football crew. West Durham at Frank Howard Field at Memorial Stadium. Nick Schusler quarterbacking the Tigers to start the 2nd half, and the first miss of the day. That one, and Deion Kane, rightly so, pats himself right on the shoulder pad, said, that one's on me. Schusler put it right on the money, and Kane did not hang on. It'll be 2nd down.
He read the blitz, did Schusler. Leonard coming off the edge, got an extra guy over there. Had it set up for Kane. Just got to catch it before you get going upfield. First one of the day.
And lowering the shoulder is Adam Choice, whose cousin Tashard Choice played at Georgia Tech, and his uncle was Joe Frank Burns, who's in the Georgia Tech Football Hall of Fame too, James. And Darius Leonard on the stop, the preseason Defensive Player of the Year in the MEAC. There's a slant. Deion Kane breaking free and into South Carolina State territory to the 44-yard line. Ruled down on the play. Let's visit with Jen.
Well, Wes, you guys have mentioned number 10, Darius Leonard, a couple of times on defense for South Carolina State. And Darius is a guy who grew up a Clemson fan, told me he used to come here to games all the time, that his half-brother, Anthony Waters, was actually a linebacker for the Tigers from 2003 to 2007. So for a long time, he's dreamed about playing here at Memorial Stadium. And, you know, he said his main goal, and he is the MEAC preseason Defensive Player of the Year, they just want to come in and be physical. They knew what they had up against them, but his job was to be physical, try to keep his guys' heads up, keep playing hard, and get ready for what they want to do when they get to the MEAC.
Well, he leads them in tackles, Jen, not only through the first couple of games, but here today with 12. And Schusler's 2nd and long pass is offline. By the way, Anthony Waters, James, just so you know, Anthony Waters, he was no joke playing too now. He could roll.
Well, I can imagine talking with those South Carolina State coaches, they insist that number 10, he's going to be a big-time Sunday guy, and you've seen it.
3rd and 12.
It does a good job not only rushing the passer, but against the run as well, against those big offensive linemen. Number 10's not out, man, that's for sure, Jay.
Clemson is 8 of 10 on 3rd down today. Schusler on a straight drop, marker thrown on the play, works to his left and throws a dart to Kane. That will be a 1st down if it stands. The marker over in front of the Bulldogs bench across the way. Deion Kane had a touchdown in the first
Illegal
half.
formation, offense. Number 76 was in the backfield, putting more than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Sean Pollard playing one of the tackle spots for Dabo Sweeney's team. Coached by the That offensive line for Clemson, coached by one of the great personalities in the Southeast, and Robbie Caldwell.
17 for the Tigers.
Longtime aide to Bobby Johnson at both Vanderbilt and Furman. Has worked at North Carolina, worked at Clemson. He's one of the great characters in college football.
You got Caldwell on the offensive side. Defensive front, Dan Brooks, he's not far behind, that's for sure. He's Tennessee boy.
There's Schuessler, dumps it back here middle of the field. Look at Choice run with it. And he'll be close to another first down. That's just a yard shy. Tyler Smith made the tackle. There is the young man from Pageland, South Carolina, Robbie Caldwell. All you need to know is that Robbie Caldwell, when he was the one-year head coach of the Vanderbilt Commodores when Bobby Johnson retired early, he held a room of 400 media people in Hoover, Alabama at bay for an hour. There's a throw into flat, and the Tigers get it going. That's the tight end, Cannon Smith, working downfield, and a Clemson first down. Smith lost his hat, which means he's got to come out for a snap.
Well, he gets to show off his flow and a big smile, a big five from his buddies as he does come out. He doesn't mind at all. There's the red zone offense, CPI security red zone offense for Clemson. Pretty good day getting down there and making it count throughout the day. Here's one more opportunity in the red zone.
Little stutter step, and C.J. Fuller, the sophomore redshirt from Easley, on first down. James, one of the things we talk about with Dabo Swinney, we talked about Brent Venables, Tony Elliott, Jeff Scott, his co-coordinators, that type deal. He's done a great job, and you've played on some great coaching staffs, for some great coaching staffs. Well, what a staff he's built here.
Absolutely.
I mean,
you know, and even when you lose one, you go out and you replace. You have it next man up type of mentality, and that's got to be a flag. Look like, well, it's not where I was thinking, but big hit late.
Number 11, defense, half the distance, automatic first down.
That's on Tyler Smith, the linebacker. Fourth penalty of the day on Schuessler here.
Yeah, a little too late. It's just a late hit, not a targeting, so there's no ejection, but you're going to get a fresh set of downs with Schuessler and company knocking at the door.
Here is Schuessler. Shoots it to the end zone and dropped by Powell.
And there's another late flag in the backfield, Wes.
Number 34, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That's on Deshaun Taylor, the linebacker.
Well, and it's one that would have stood. What a throw right there, leads him right into the line. That's a beautifully thrown football. Powell with the step on the defensive back. Ooh, that insult to injury after the drop. Runs right into that brick wall. So, again, aided by the flag, Wes, another fresh set of downs inside the 5.
Too tight look, and they hand the ball, and going to work is Fuller. He'll be pushed back at about the 2. And there's big Shaquille Crouch, 6'4", 395, redshirt freshman from Johnsonville.
You think it's hard to recruit a guy named C.J. Fuller to Clemson? Hey, come on, C.J. Spiller, C.J. Fuller.
Yeah.
It's pretty close, isn't it? How can you not go?
Schuessler getting his guys set here for second and goal at the 3. Inside give, and Fuller got knocked back by Crouch, who lost his helmet. So that was Feaster, I beg your pardon, 28, Tavian Feaster. Big Crouch will have to take it down off, losing his helmet. So now third and goal at the 3.
Credit to the Bulldogs. Down 45 points, and Clemson looked like they're going to march right down into the end zone. They've stiffened down here in the red zone.
Schuessler, end zone throw, broken up. Intended for DeAndre Overton, who had a first half touchdown catch. And Alex Brown got a hand in.
Nice job defending. We've seen this secondary have some trouble with these little slant passes, but a great job. See the backhand to secure, the front hand coming across to rip it away. That is textbook defensive secondary play right there by Alex Brown, the sophomore from Holly Hill, South Carolina.
4th down and goal. Schussler on a toss. Left side is Feaster in the touchdown. Flag will likely be offside against South Carolina State.
Number 98. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
So the Tigers take their opening possession of the 3rd quarter.
We just run away from them, and a good job. Again, we saw it in the 1st quarter, Gallman's run. Clemson doing a good job of sealing off that edge on the sweep outside. Different back. This time it's Feaster. But same result. 6 points. The point after is good. Good job up front, and the scoring keeps coming. 52-0 for the hometown Clemson Tigers.
Carolina State, Tavian Feaster, a 4-yard run a moment ago to now make it a 52-0 score. And some of these Tiger faithful here at Memorial Stadium got to be thinking ahead to Thursday night in Atlanta at Grant Field. Spence his kick, just hangs up there, and here is Harris off the 10. Trying to work to the near side. He'll be pulled down at the 19-yard line. Well done by Clemson in their kick cover unit. Don't forget, Matt Devlin, Takeo Spikes, and Nicky Noto standing by beautiful Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. The Tar Heels, the Coastal Division champs a year ago, finally play a home game, James. They'll meet JMU, Mike Houston Stooks in Chapel Hill at 3:30, and Louisville now continues to spread the margin on Florida State, James.
Wow, my goodness. On our show, ACC All Access, I picked Louisville this week, but by no stretch of the imagination did I think that they'd be up on them that much. I can't wait to get home and watch the recorded copy. So much good football on today, though. May have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, here's Morris trying to work on 1st down. He's thrown back. Trey Lamar, true freshman from down at Roswell, Georgia. And Lamar in there on the mix.
Let's see, first
for the Tigers.
Watch all the live stuff. Wake up in the morning. I'll watch the second half of this game once more, and then I'll go. Then I'll go watch that Louisville game.
Yeah,
good way to start the Sunday.
York looking to throw and broken up. And the Tigers, Corin Wiggins. Tell you what, Corin Wiggins, redshirt junior from Durham, North Carolina, has played a lot of football here. I mean, he's been around for a while, and now trying to help Brett Venable's group. Kendall Cobb was the intended receiver for South Carolina State. Wiggins had 40 tackles a year ago and 2 interceptions for these Tigers. 3rd and 10 now for SC State. And they'll hand it to Brown. And DeAndre Brown up to about the 23-yard line.
Wes, that's
and DeAndre now flag has been thrown post-scrimmage here, James. And it looked like Justin Evans and I believe Kanomi McIntosh were talking to one of the officials here about no flag being thrown, and I don't know if we're going to get the...
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 45, defense, 15-yard penalty. 1st down. This is number 45's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Chris Register tagged with that. 5 penalties on Clemson, 39 yards.
That's one way to keep it alive. Brent Venable's not happy with that. And you're about to get off the field, and 52-0. Obviously, you want to get off, preserve this shutout, keep some good numbers, but more importantly, as you get down, into the teeth of this schedule, you got a chance to get off the football field. You can't have a silly penalty to aid an offense, get them a fresh set of downs after you've won the battle.
Inside give here on the fresh first down play from the 38. And LeBron Morris, freshman from Decatur, Georgia, picked up a couple. And Sterling Johnson now playing in that defensive line. He and Jabril Robinson combined on the stop. Second down, it'll be about 8. Playing with shortened clock here in each the third and fourth quarter, reduced by 3 minutes in a mutual agreement of Buddy Pugh and Dabo Swinney before the second half. So we're already at 4.5 minutes to go in quarter 3. York flushed up in the pocket, and he'll be sacked. And the Tigers' Albert Huggins, sophomore from Orangeburg. And the 4th sack of the day for the Clemson Tigers. And now 3rd and about a dozen.
Well, for 3 straight years, this Clemson defense, led by Brent Venables, has led the nation in tackles for loss. Not going the right way right now. South Carolina State forced into another big 3rd down and long, and another opportunity for a hungry defense to get back there and drop them again.
Straight back York, trying to get middle of the field, looking for Cobb. And it got broken up on the play by Tanner Muse, playing in that safety position for Clemson. So it'll be 4th and 11, and South Carolina State will punt. Six-play possession. Timeout's been taken. 3.5 to go. Third quarter continues after this. ACC football. Clemson 52, South Carolina State nothing, with James Bates, Jen Hildreth, Dave Berenger, our producer, Lonnie Dale, our director, our great crew here today at Memorial Stadium. And Jerome Petaway to punt it. And Powell fumbled and juggled it, but I think got back on the football at the 30-yard line. 43-yard punt. How about our Z-Max Power play of the game with Deion Kane, Batesy?
Oh, big and strong, going up, high pointing that football and pulling it in. Little pump by Deshaun Watson and throwing it right on the money. Frustrations really seem to be gone for Watson. And you know what? Speaking of frustrations, really the one drop, we saw one from Powell as well, but the one we saw from Kane, what happened? Dabo goes right back to him. They go right back to him on the next play. He makes the catch, makes 2 more actually after his drop. So you go back to the locker room and nobody's dropping balls. We're not a ball-dropping team. You've got that feel-good still back in the receiving core, and here they go right back to the ground looking pretty good.
2 catches, 33 yards, a touchdown for Deion Kane. And Tyshawn Dye, redshirt junior from Elberton, Georgia, who we saw here a couple of years ago get a career high rushing against Georgia State in a win for the Tigers. And Dye going right back to work again. First down to midfield. Big power back, 6 feet, over 215 pounds. He's a top 20 back coming out of Elberton, Georgia, a few years ago. And Kelly Bryant fakes the toss, turns it back upfield. And Bryant on the run, circles to the near side, pulled down at the 25-yard line. Alex Brown, the play in the secondary for South Carolina State.
See how things work. Everybody flying out of there because they've got to respect Tyshawn Dye. He's been running the football on you. Guys run out of position. And the youngster, Kelly Bryant, showing you he can put his foot in the ground and get up the field north and south.
Here goes Dye. And works his way for about 4. Leonard and Brown from the back 7 of the Bulldogs.
Number 30 on the tackle, Alex Brown.
And we approach now inside 2 minutes we go in this third period.
2nd and 5.
And the toss. Here goes Dye again inside the 10 and drives it to about the 2.
Brought down by number 10, Leonard.
Pretty good hard running here.
Well, Radakovich, nice block, and also up the field. Looked like Kervenka.
Snap a little high. Bryant wanted to throw. And
Full start. Number 74. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
John Simpson, the big freshman at guard that James spoke of earlier.
Boy, he looked good, Wes. It's easy to say, you know, a former linebacker. You don't want to see that. You hate to see the big men that can really get up and run, the big pullers.
Yeah.
But it's from up here, it looks good when you don't have to play against it and go meet it. I mean, when they get those 330 pounds, 315 pounds, get them moving, boy, it could be dangerous. And really good-looking athlete for a young guy that big.
Bryant going to loop for the end zone, and it is caught. Held on. Touchdown for Clemson. Trevion Thompson. Flag is down on the play. And Stuart Mullins still working things out here with Jeff Tomlin.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 59, offense. The result of the play is a touchdown.
So here in the final minute of the third period, Bryant has thrown the touchdown pass.
And how many times have we seen this today? It's, you know, balls that have to be thrown right on the mark and just taking advantage of some of these bigger bodies. Trevion goes 6'2", over 200 pounds for that 7-yard catch, and they're hugging him up over on the sidelines as they keep pouring it on.
And here's the point after, and it is good. So Kelly Bryant to Trevion Thompson puts another score on the board for the Tigers. Boy, High points the ball beautifully, doesn't he? And Clemson now makes it a 59-0 lead here in the final minute of the third period. 6 plays, 70 yards, James, in 2:33. And the 7-yard throw from Bryant to Thompson. Time for today's Honda Generators Power Play. And this is one of Bates's favorites, I know. Early Batesy Award candidate, by the way, I'm calling here on Christian Wilkins.
Yeah, and you know what? We sat down with him yesterday, sophomore from Springfield, Massachusetts, and what a neat kid, and fell in love with this program. Obviously flew over a lot of other good football programs when he decided to come down here and be a Clemson Tiger. And, you know, just a distant family member or a friend of the family is what it was just a Clemson fan when he was growing up, and he just, from a very young age, wanted to, you know, love the Clemson Tigers and wanted to be a part of this program. And, you know, it just so happened that they started getting pretty hot and becoming the gossip in college football right when he was coming of age. And actually his motto for a while was, he said he wrote it down, Clemson, no matter what.
Christian Grooms will kick it away right down the pipe to Harris. And he'll work back 25, 30, 35, and tackle made about the 42-yard line. Jen, I am calling Christian Wilkins early Batesy Award favorite in week 3.
You guys are going to love this video. Now, Clemson didn't have to go to its big package with putting Wilkins on offense in this game. He caught a touchdown the last game, but the guy's got good hands. Not only can he catch the ball in the regular run of play, he can catch it while riding on a bicycle. That's right. He had a little recreation of that play in the Orange Bowl last year. The punter, Andy Teasdall, threw him the ball. Wilkins on the bike makes the catch. Batesy, if that is not something that deserves an award from you, I don't know what is.
I've got you, Jen. And you know what I loved about the whole story, too? Here, we'll let him run this play.
York trying to work to the near side, gains about 4 or 5 on first down.
You know what was beautiful about it all was he goes, you know, I've just always loved riding bikes. And it's just good exercise. I just love riding bikes. And I was out riding the bike and I saw they were in the indoor facility and they're working on the punt. So I just stopped in and I brought my bike in.
Well, and James, I love what he said when he was a kid. He said, I was just a little chubby kid on a big bike. So now he's just a big kid on a big bike.
Yeah.
And he said it did take a few takes to catch that ball. He admitted that, but hey, I mean, it was legit.
Yeah. Well, big legit play in that Orange Bowl. You mentioned the victory over Oklahoma. And there's something about him. He sits there in the room with you, Christian Wilkins. You can just tell he's just an incredible athlete. Something about him sitting in a chair, he's ready to spring. Well, springing on South Carolina State in 3 quarters, Clemson today.
And we rejoin you, 4th quarter underway here at Frank Howard Field at Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. And great pictures by Director Lonnie Dale and our wonderful crew here. And it's been a pretty good day to be a Clemson Tiger, James Bates. I mean, these cats have been efficient today. We're talking about they have scored. Now remember, they have a special team score. They have scored 7 touchdowns in 9 full down possessions of the football today.
And I think I'll bet you, Wes, they've played over 70 players through 3 quarters. They had about 65 at halftime.
Yep. Incomplete on the pass. York trying to dial it to Tyler Shadwell, true freshman, and he was defended by Tanner Muse, who's played some football here in the secondary. And that'll be 4th down and a punt coming for South Carolina State.
Samir Trapp this time back there, Wes.
Yep.
Cal, a little bit of trouble with it last time.
And flagged it down at the 22. That's where the Tigers will start when we continue. Clemson in control early 4th quarter. Is brought to you by CPI Securities, Quicken Loans, and by Ford. Tigers will take over from their 21. And Kelly Bryant stays on at quarterback, 3rd Tiger QB we've seen today. And Bryant will keep it here on 1st down. And he will be tackled after a loss of about 1 at the 20, Jen, by Kendrick Gathers.
Well, Wes, I got a couple of guys here who Clemson fans that would have to love seeing down here. C.J. Spiller, Jacoby Ford, just like old times, these two here together. C.J., let's start with you. What do you think of your boys out there today?
They look good. I think they needed a game like this to kind of get their confidence going, especially on offense. So to come out and put up 59 points so far in the game, even though it's South Carolina, I think it still gives you a lot of confidence. So it's pretty sure it's some stuff they can build on, getting ready to head into conference play.
Jacoby, now be honest. Were you a little bit nervous? What's going on with my team first couple weeks?
Well, Tavian Feaster wears number 28 like Spiller there, Jen.
You know these guys are loving that. So, Jacoby, I know you look at it right now. You feel like our offense is clicking. What about weeks 1 and 2?
It was frustrating to watch at first, just because how exciting and how explosive this offense can be. And, just seeing how the work ethic is, they work so hard in practice. So it was just like, what is going on? What is going on? But, I think they just need to just hone in and just get a little humbling a little bit and just go back to the basics. And I think they went back and they did that this week, and their whole practice this week, they were all focused, especially those wideouts.
Yeah, Coach Sweeney said we got a little edge courtesy of our play the first couple weeks. CJ, how do you like seeing a number 28 still out there running up and down?
Well, he just made a great play right then. It's a beautiful thing to see. He's looking good so far. So, it's good to see it. It definitely feels different because you haven't heard it in so long. So I'm excited for him to have a great game and obviously a great career.
Now, I want to know, Wes Durham, we call him the Westyclopedia because he knows all this information. I want to know if you two know the NCAA record that the two of you hold together.
I want to say it's the career yards.
Yeah, I think we're the world's most dynamic duo, I believe.
There you go. Wes.
The all-purpose.
That's it.
World's most dynamic duo, or
or?
Most all-purpose yards by classmates in NCAA history, over 11,000. Well done. Congrats on that, and I always appreciate seeing you guys.
Thank y'all, guys. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate that.
Wes?
C.J. Spiller, Jacoby Ford kept ACC coaches up late, James. I mean late, trying to figure out how you would corral those two cats.
Well, returning kicks as well. I just saw a couple. We had our first game of the year on Thursday night, so I got to go back and watch the Gators in the Swamp on Saturday, first weekend. Saw a few Union County high school kids there in the tunnel. Asked him if Spiller's been around, and their eyes lit up, man. They're like, he's there every chance he gets. So going back home, taking care of those guys, too, at his old high school.
Bryant going to be pulled down on 3rd and long. And Darius Leonard still out there trying to take some names for South Carolina State defensively.
Number 10, Darius Leonard.
Well, C.J. Spiller and Jacoby Ford got the Tigers kind of rolling. Part of a big Tommy Bowden recruiting class. Maximized Dabo Swinney, and we're really kind of set this thing going. Remember, Dabo Swinney was named the coach in October of 2008. And Spiller and Ford part of that team. 09 played in the championship game, and it's been forward ever since. Timeout at Clemson. Cross and blue shield of North Carolina game summary, and it's been all Clemson. You see the 9 tackles behind the line, perfect red zone performance, and better than 500 yards of offense for the Tigers today. Number 5 in the country and looking like it against South Carolina State. And LeBron Morris on a reroute. We'll pick up about 2 or 3 to the 36.
Number 5, LeBron Morris, the ball carrier.
Well, James, here's the loaded question. You saw Louisville week 1, who evidently is imposing its will on Florida State here in the second half. We saw the Noles last week, and now we've seen the Tigers. Needless to say, 2 weeks from today, Clemson will welcome Louisville here, and then in late October, the Tigers go to Tallahassee. Ford at quarterback, and he'll be tackled at the 36. These 3 teams now have kind of set their marks a little bit, not only in the ACC but nationally. What do you see in each of them that you like? What would be your concern if you're a fan of the Cards or the Noles or the Tigers?
Well, as far as Louisville goes, you got to come in and play that game here. That's just it's very tough, even though as a player, the player in me, when you've got a team that in the off season you work so hard and you get along, you've got that bond. It's, to me, some of my favorite memories are loading up that bus and going into enemy territory with the teammates. Now, it's one of the toughest things to do. Look at that, man!
Wow, man. Skowski. My goodness, the freshman from Sharpsburg, Georgia.
Boy,
that makes you. Oh, you like that, don't you?
I do.
The old linebacker likes that.
He was coming. He was coming. And you know what? And I mean, I'm glad they didn't throw a flag because that's they throw a flag sometimes on that. I'm glad they held on to it. I mean, that's just football. You hate to see the head-to-head, but quarterback just trying to kind of step up and. Man, he wanted it, didn't he? Yeah. These guys wanted it. But just to finish up real quick, Wes, Lamar Jackson is so special. We've seen that again today against Florida State. We got a little bit of time when we come back to talk about it. But and some good football on the horizon, that's for sure.
No question.
Good defensive play keeps on coming for these guys wearing the orange today, that's for sure.
7 to go in the ball game. And the Tigers now have Tucker Israel in at quarterback and Grant Radakovich. Transfer from Mercer hauls in the catch.
Caught it and went airborne.
Yep. Finished his undergrad work at Mercer, got a degree, and is now spending a grad year and the extra year of eligibility playing here at Clemson. His dad, Dan, the athletic director. And Feaster works it across midfield to the 49 as we work toward the 6-minute mark. Now, I will tell you, Grant Radakovich also has something else in common. He's the first spotter that's ever worked for me that now has caught a pass in a college football game.
You mean Ginger Littlejohn never caught a pass?
No, Ginger unfortunately never caught a pass in a college football game. But Grant spotted for me when his dad was the athletic director at Georgia Tech in a bowl game one time.
Nice.
So Grant has now become in a part of a unique group. Very unique, and we hope we don't add to it, as they say. And Israel at quarterback works it out in the flat. Jack Sweeney, the catch. And Clemson now. Interesting in our visit yesterday, James and Jen, about Dabo Sweeney talking about the 3 days he feels like they've already got in the books of their preparation for Thursday night in Atlanta. Remember now, they're playing today. Georgia Tech's playing Vanderbilt. They're both into the fourth quarter. And the Jackets and Tigers will play Thursday night at Grant Field under the lights in Midtown Atlanta. But Dabo Sweeney was quick to point out to us, hey, look, we've probably got 3 days of prep already in the books with our football team as it relates to Georgia Tech.
Well, and he also reminded us, and I think this is the same way with everybody in the ACC, when you've got Georgia Tech out there and you've got these other teams that come in and in some way, shape, or form, you're going to see option football. They work on it. They work on Georgia Tech in spring. They work on them in summer. And you have to, especially when you've got a short week coming up. It's like we asked Charles Kelly at FSU. They don't play Georgia Tech this year.
Right.
But, last week they had Charleston Southern. They knew they were going to see some option. And they knew it would be similar to what they see against Georgia Tech. They always work on it.
All right, Tigers are going to take a break. 4:37 to go. Back with more from Clemson after this. On 4th and 9, just over midfield. And Harris will play from the 10. And brought down with 4.5 minutes to go. Carson King was the punter for the Tigers. Congratulations to Chris Byerly of Calera, Alabama, our Week 1 Honda Generator Tailgate winner. Enter now at foxsportssouth.com/Honda for your chance to win a Honda generator to power your next tailgate. James Bates is not eligible.
Nope. But I'm happy for old man Byerly's kid.
Old man Byerly's kid.
Big winner.
Yes, he is. Big winner. 4:28 to play, and DeJuan Ford, the redshirt freshman, back at quarterback for South Carolina State. Second quarterback of the day. We've seen 4 quarterbacks now for Clemson. And the run by Morris out to the 21 will make it second down. We work our way toward 4 minutes to go. There's Trapp making the play for the Tigers. Amir, whose dad James, not only a Super Bowl champion with the Ravens, also an Olympian. A lot of good legacies on this Tiger team. You see Morris running it to get us under the 4-minute mark. Stay tuned. 3:30 start today in Chapel Hill. North Carolina and James Madison. The Tar Heels rebounded at Illinois last Saturday night. Mitch Trubisky a little smoother against the Illini of Lovie Smith than he might have been an opening day in Atlanta against Georgia. Interested to see how that one, along with BC Virginia Tech, the other conference game, James, on the slate today.
Well, Steve Adazio's bunch is better than they were last year offensively, but they've got a tough one against Virginia Tech.
There's Morris into the secondary, up to about the 45. Wiggins the tackle. Don't forget, stay up to date with everything going on in the ACC with ACC All Access. Bronco Mendenhall, the new head man at Virginia, is profiled this week. Olivia Harlan hosts our show Thursday at 5:30 on most of the regional sports network outlets. We'll see Mendenhall's Cavaliers, who are at Stores today to play UConn. And we'll get a look at Virginia and John Bonamigo and the Chippewas of Central Michigan next week, with Cooper Rush closing in on 10,000 career passing yards. James, that is slinging it.
That's going to be, we've got a little bit of a lopsided game here this afternoon. Heck, the first 3 weeks we've had lopsided games, but we'll make up for it next weekend when we've got Central Michigan visiting Virginia.
Yep.
That'll be a good one.
Interesting that Virginia's Albert Reed has kind of become the power back. He's had 100-yard efforts now in 2 of Virginia's last 3 games going into this afternoon. And Ben Kurt is the East Carolina transfer who is the starter now for the Cavaliers and Mendenhall's first team.
And off to 48, Andre Brown.
And a quick look at our Quicken Loans upcoming schedule, and you see the Thursday night contest in Atlanta, and then 2 weeks from today, I'm pretty confident Louisville will not be 10th come Monday.
Oh.
And then BC, NC State, and then October 29th after a bye in Tallahassee. Well, now it's all right in front of the Tigers, James.
It really is. Gosh, I really am anxious to see just what it was, the game going on right at the same time as ours at Florida State and Louisville.
Yeah.
Just how the domination came about.
1:38 to play, and Ford slings it out of bounds. So it'll be 4th down.
Coach Buddy Pugh, company go back and start that MEAC. They'll get a couple important pieces back to this football team.
Well, you mentioned Bishop Ford, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They're their best running back, and some pieces that they left out that, you know, if they had to, could have played today. And, you know, just a mismatched against a team that came out with a sense of urgency and knew that they had to sharpen things up as they get ready for the teeth of their schedule, and they did just that today. So ran into a buzzsaw, if you will, Buddy Pugh's team. But you see some flashes of how they're going to be all right when they get back into their league play. And, you know, I mentioned it earlier, G.A. Mangus, their new offensive coordinators. Not a lot of wiggle room you got to hear today, but I think that they're going to do some good things moving it offensively. They moved it pretty well his first time out against Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, they did.
Scored some points.
Well, the Tigers now, just a couple of snaps, and they will move to 3-0. And I think they were feeling like things were okay. And there's a throw, Israel, back here to the near sideline. And a leaping catch of it by Ryan. Seth Ryan, who's the son of Rex Ryan, who's here today at the game after his team played on Thursday night at home against the Jets.
18-yard pickup, first down Tigers at the 40.
So the Tigers looking to roll here with 80 seconds left to go in the ball game. And they're going to run it with Feaster.
And off to Tavian Feaster.
And Dabo Swinney's team is going to go to Atlanta undefeated at 3-0. And Georgia Tech with the lead on Vanderbilt. And that may mean an undefeated Yellow Jacket team, James.
Boy, what a big win they got in Ireland in week 1 against Boston College.
This is James Barnes at quarterback now. I said Israel. This is Barnes throwing the ball. And back inside the Tigers, Mylan Richard, redshirt sophomore at tight end. Sophomore from Savannah. His mom and dad were track All-Americans at Georgia. You talk about another guy that crossed the aisle politically. And here in the final 30 seconds. And the give is to Feaster.
Maybe that's just the ongoing theme. People complaining kids don't respect mom and dad anymore. They don't respect their schools either. I'm going to go where I want to go.
Tigers are winners, 59-0 today. Clemson is now 3-0 headed to Atlanta on Thursday night.